Hey fam, how's it going? In today's video, we have Land of the Ojamas. Let's get right to it. For the skill card, we have Land of the Ojamas. For monster lineup, we have 3 Ojama Blues, 2 Ojama Blacks, 2 Ojama Greens, and 2 Ojama Yellows. On to spells, 3 Enchanting Fitting Room, 3 Creature Swap, 3 Hammer Shot, 2 Polymerizations, 1 Ojama Country, and 1 Ojama Delta Hurricane. And then to traps, we have 3 Damage Condensers, 3 Widespread Ruins, and 2 Justy Breaks. For the extra deck, we have 2 Ojama Knights and 2 Ojama Kings. How to win / strategies. Now before we review the game plan, fam, let's review the skill card Land of the Ojamas. Let's flip it over real quick. It reads, at the start of the duel, flip this card over and place it in your field spell zone. And then once per turn, you can send 1 Ojama card from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Ojama monster from your graveyard. While you control an Ojama monster, switch the original attack and defense of all monsters on the field. And this right here, fam, is the main win condition. The tactic of switching the attack and defense stats is a very underrated tactic, but when executed successfully, it's pretty darn effective. And with that being said, fam, I built this deck with the intent of being as aggressive as possible with the Ojamas. Let me show you how. Alright, so the MVP of the deck is Ojama Blue. And for those of you that don't know, let's review it real quick. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can add 2 Ojama cards from your deck to your hand. And I'm about to show you, fam, what your bread and butter play is going to be. So let's say our opponent has a monster on the field. We've got Ojama Blue. We'll just simply creature swap. And there is one crucial thing that you should know, fam, when it comes to Land of the Ojamas and Ojamas period. Okay? So Land of the Ojamas, it says, while you control an Ojama monster, switch the original attack defense of all monsters on the field. So right now, what does the field look like? We have Cyber Dragon, the opponent has Ojama Blue. So meaning Cyber Dragon is back at 2100 attack and Ojama Blue is back to 0. So don't forget that, fam, okay? This can be easily forgotten or overlooked. I know I did. Or it could be because I'm a Yugi boomer and things have changed now. The times have changed. But anyways, let's continue with the play. So Cyber Dragon is going to attack into Ojama Blue. And when that happens, fam, what we're going to pull from the deck is we're going to pull Ojama Delta Hurricane and then another Ojama Blue. Now, the reason why we're getting another Ojama Blue is because we want to keep deck thinning, fam. Remember, deck thinning is deck winning, as mentioned in my Speed Duel Bros Yugi Wisdom podcast. You should check that out. But again, we want to keep deck thinning as much as we can so that when we activate our other cards, such as Enchanting Fitting Room, the odds of us special summoning the normal Ojamas is much higher. And we'll go over Enchanting Fitting Room soon enough. And the reason why we get Ojama Delta Hurricane right away is because this is going to be our one golden shot to push for game once everything is in place. And for those of you that don't know Ojama Delta Hurricane, here it is. If you control Ojama Green, Ojama Yellow, and Ojama Black, destroy all cards your opponent controls. One big board wipe. Now fam, before we continue with this strategy, I just want to remind y'all that I'm showing you the main strategy of this deck. And the reason why I'm reiterating this, fam, is because depending on the situation at the time and on what's on the field, you may possibly choose different Ojama cards. You know, maybe you have Polymerization and you might want to get the other Ojama vanilla monsters, you know? But the thing here is, I'm just showing you the main strategy and what your go-to play is 9 times out of 10. Because Ojamas are definitely a tricky deck, and they're a situational deck, and the only way to truly understand how Ojamas work is if you keep playtesting with them. And then you can go about different builds and variants of how to go about your Ojama business. But again, with my build, I built it with the intent of being as aggressive as much as possible. Alright, so let's continue. Alright, so we got our +2 from the first Ojama blue. And let's say we get this second Ojama blue off. Now what we're gonna get from the deck is Ojama Country and another Ojama blue. So as you can see, fam, we are going to constantly plus as much as we can so that we can get to our power cards. And yes, we're playing a 30 card deck, but thanks to this tech, Damage Condenser, getting to Ojama blue, or any Ojama for that matter, will be very easy. And here's what Damage Condenser says. When you take battle damage, discard 1 card. Special summon 1 monster from your deck with attack less than or equal to the battle damage you took in attack position. And here's the thing, we could take 1 point of life point damage and we would have access to all the Ojamas because they have 0 attack. Pretty neat and pretty funny, right? And this is where Justy Break comes in, because with Damage Condenser, it leaves our monster in attack position, right? So if we've got a vanilla Ojama on the field and then our opponent is unsuspecting of our Justy Break, oh, we're gonna nuke the opponent's field just like that, leaving them wide open for a direct attack come our turn. Now let's go over Enchanting Fitting Room, fam. It reads, pay 800 life points, excavate the top 4 cards of your deck, and special summon all excavated level 3 or lower normal monsters. Also, after that, shuffle the rest back into your deck. See, and even look at the artwork here. It even shows them an Ojama, I think. So this card was made for Ojamas. Anyways, so when we activate this card, we have the potential to special summon more Ojamas to the field. So we could at least possibly get 1. And never fear, fam, Land of the Ojamas also has another effect, which it could be overlooked too. It's the first one. Once per turn, you can send 1 Ojama card from your hand to the graveyard. Special summon 1 Ojama monster from your graveyard. So obviously we're gonna discard an Ojama card and we get the other one back, the one that we need. And then from that point on, at this point of the game, hopefully, we could just Ojama Delta Hurricane, or maybe we can even Fusion Summon if you want it. So as you can see, fam, Enchanting Fitting Room, it's to help us push for game, or at least make a power play against the opponent. And then, fam, I'd like to mention the tech that we have in this deck, which would be Widespread Ruin, Justy Break, Hammer Shot, and Creature Swap. So as you can see, this is monster removal on demand. And the reason for that, fam, is because I want the opponent to feel like the Land of the Ojamas is a very dangerous land to tread upon. Because if they attack an Ojama, it's like stepping on a landmine, or getting Justy Breaked. Or if the opponent's monster doesn't want to attack and they just stand there, they get hammer shotted. Or worse, the monster becomes ours with Creature Swap. So as you can see, fam, what I'm trying to do for the Ojamas is trying to keep the opponent's field clear of anything. Because remember, we're only playing with 4,000 life points here. How many times do we need to attack? Not too many times. So yeah, fam, this is what I meant when I said that I built the deck with the intent of being as aggressive as possible. I want the opponent to feel that the Land of the Ojamas is a treacherous land. So to summarize the how to win / strategies part, I would say 1, know your cards real well, know what they do, because Ojamas, again, they are such a unique deck, and how they go about their business is also unique, but they have their ways. And then 2, deck thin as much as possible so that when we finally push for game or make a power play, the opponent can't stop us. And then 3, make the land of the Ojamas a treacherous land for the opponent. So yeah, fam, that's how you win. I know it's a lot to take in, but as I mentioned earlier, you just have to play the deck to understand the deck. And the more you play it, the more you will understand. Card analysis. The skill card Land of the Ojamas. Again, this right here is the main win condition because it allows us to switch the stats of all of the monsters on the field as long as we control an Ojama. And don't forget, it also has a Monster Reborn effect for Ojamas. And one last thing, the key thing to remember is that if we creature swap away our Ojama and we have the opponent's monster on our side of the field, remember fam, the stats, they go back to normal because it's the opponent controlling the Ojama, not us. And it's only when we have an Ojama that the stats switch around, okay? And so we play 3 Ojama Blues. This is the MVP of the deck. It's your engine starter. It's your go-to card. It's what makes the deck work. So playing 3 is an absolute must. And then I play 2 of each Ojama, black, yellow, and green. This was the ratio that worked for me. There's no deep thinking there. It's just what works. And then we play that 1 copy of Ojama Country just in case we lose the first copy. We have the second one ready to go. And then we play 1 Ojama Delta Hurricane because it gives us that 1 golden shot to push for game. And initially, fam, I wanted to play 2, but then when I got to play testing, the second copy was more of a dead card and it was a bit more excessive, to say the least. So 1 is good enough. And then we play 3 Enchanting Fitting Room because it's a power card for this deck. It helps us push for game by potentially putting more monsters on the board, and it just helps us get to our combo pieces, specifically the Ojamas. You know, we can either fusion summon with it or play Ojama Delta Hurricane if we're that lucky. You know, imagine playing Enchanting Fitting Room and getting 1 of each copy on the field. Oh, that's very nice. But yeah, this is a power card to make a power play. And then we play the 3 creature swap to just kind of help us, give us some field control and help us gain advantage when we creature swap away our Ojama Blue. Not only do we get to take the opponent's monster, but we get to plus off of Ojama Blue, thus helping us get closer to victory. And then let's get to the destructive tech, which would be Hammer Shot, Justy Break, and Widespread Ruin. Now, the reason why I bring these 3 all into the same time is because they fulfill one thing. It's monster removal on demand, and they also make the Land of the Ojamas a very dangerous and treacherous land for the opponent. Because really, that's all we're trying to do is keep the opponent's monster field clear so that the Ojamas can chip away at the opponent's life points. And then we play the 2 Polymerization. Now for me, in my opinion, I consider this a power card in the deck because it gives us access to Ojama Knight and Ojama King. And when we have the field spell on the field, they become beaters with Ojama Knight at 2500 and then Ojama King at 3000. And I'd like to point out, fam, that with Ojama Knight, any combination of 2 Ojama monsters is just fine to bring this guy out. So very useful, very functional. Unlike the King, where you specifically need green, yellow, and black. But regardless, they give us more options to play. So yeah, that's why I play the Polymerization. And then we play the 3 Damage Condensers. Again, its main purpose here is to get to Ojama Blue if we haven't already. But again, fam, we may come up with the weirdest and unique scenarios against the opponent with this deck. So depending on the situation, you may get a different Ojama. Because who knows? What if we have Justy Break face down and the opponent is such on the offensive that we gotta bring out a vanilla and then just nuke their field. But again, Damage Condenser is here to help us get to our key pieces sooner rather than later. So, where does this deck rank on the power scale? In my humble opinion, this deck is casual. And the reason why I say it's casual, fam, is because of consistency issues. And the reason for those consistency issues is because we run normal monsters. And anytime we run normal monsters in the deck, fam, there's going to be an issue of consistency, whether big or small. And in this case, for the Ojama's case, what if we happen to draw a hand of just mainly vanilla monsters? We'd be in a tight spot. Now granted, I tried my very best to make the deck not have too many consistency issues, because remember, we're only running 9 monsters here. So compared to the 21 other spell and trap card tech that we've got running around in this deck. But I digress, fam. This deck, it's truly unique. There's so many ways to go about Ojamas, and this is the variant that I wanted to go with. I wanted to utilize the effect of the switching of stats tactic. But yeah, Ojamas are a unique deck and they have their unique ways. And the way to understand them better is to just play them, give them a try. And with that being said, fam, I hope you enjoyed this deck profile, and if you did, feel free to hit the like button, helps me out a lot. And if you haven't already, subscribe to me, your Speed Duel bro. You're more than welcome to subscribe, because 2 things. 1, I always play to win, and 2, if you love speed duels, I'm sure you'll love me too. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.